be going and Holy Ghost blowing and loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time. The most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Sorry, that's not my regular voice. I didn't really know the words. It's not what I would sing like, I don't think. In my truest of voices, I would not probably sing that way. But I did it for you. I think it was Andy Williams, 1963. Good morning, Tyler. Good morning, Tanya. The reason I think I know that is my pastor at church kind of dissected the song. I think, honestly, I love my pastor. I mean, love might be overstating it. And again, I want to talk about that a little bit today. Certainly love for my pastor might be overstating it, but I think he's a really good pastor. But I do think he dissected the song, and he used it to prove a point that most of us don't think Christmas is as wonderful as maybe the myth of Christmas is. And a lot of us are stressed out or tired or, doing this or that, and we don't really share the joy that is in that song about how Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year. And I don't know if we do or not. I mean, I'm sure that was just a song, I'm sure Andy Williams, when he wrote that song, didn't really think that every Christmas was the most special time of the year and that kids were jingle belling and hearts would be whatever, melting or whatever the words are. And maybe the pastor's right, but either way, I thought it was a somewhat needlessly cynical way to look at it a little bit. I don't know, because listening to the music still kind of makes me sing along and get my head moving and feeling good and kind of feeling in the spirit a little bit. I mean, I guess if you're not in the spirit, it might bum you out. But I think at that point, you got to look inside and go, hey, why am I bummed out listening to this guy sing this Christmas song? What's going on in my life that I'm not feeling a part of it, or joy or happiness, or I don't know. So I think it's what's going on within. Let me see here. I already said good morning to Tyler and Tanya and Walter and BH and Chip and Jay Boogie and Otis Blue and TikTok and Daniel and Crazy Grandkids. See, I bet you Crazy Grandkids thinks it's the most wonderful time of the year. And User and Luke and Deborah. And Master Jedi and Bob. And there's Luke again. Iced coffee today, said P. Steve Samar, Jumbo Jet John. Jumbo Jet John. Jumbo Jet John. Who sung that? Not Jumbo Jet John, but it reminds me of a song. I don't know which one. Margaret, Kyle, Blow, Judy, Helen, Houston, MVI, and the rest. Dan Collins, how are you? And good morning, good morning, good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Thursday morning. It is December 19th. It is 5:57 a.m. Happy Thursday to you. This is a little show I've been doing for quite some time, just about 5.5 years. A show about me talking, sharing some experiences, sharing a little bit about the journey one man has in life. But more than the journey, I think it's more me sharing my thoughts and, I don't know if they're conclusions, because conclusions by definition mean like the final thoughts or what we've decided on something, or this is our answer, at least for us. And for me, I'm not sure I ever come up with any conclusions, because my thoughts continue to develop and evolve and change, I guess, over time. And the more times, the longer I'm on this planet and the more experiences I have, the more opportunity for me to change my mind or have different thoughts or think about things or look at the world a different way or what have you. And this morning, after a great night's sleep, I kind of woke up thinking about this show a little bit and about how I got people to think I'm like the worst thing in the world. I had somebody do a video of me calling me a douchebag yesterday. I go, wow, I'm me. But this person who doesn't know me thinks I'm a douchebag. And on the other side of the coin, I have people messaging me, like saying they're thinking of me and sending me blowy kiss faces. I'm going, well, I don't know if I'm worth that either. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. I'm going through my struggles. I'm talking about them. I'm not a hero or awesome or an inspiration necessarily, or a villain or the devil or a bad person or a bad dad or a bad ex-husband. I'm just a guy. And I think I talked about it a little bit yesterday. So often we put the people up on stage that we see on stage or we see on TV on some weird pedestal and pretend they're not humans. I was listening when I woke up. I popped on the radio and I heard Mariah Carey singing her famous Christmas song. And, I'm sure people have strong thoughts about Mariah Carey one way or the other, but she's just a woman. I don't know. She's probably in her mid-50s right now. I assume she's probably still performing, but she probably doesn't look like the woman she did 30 years ago when she was in her early 20s. And I'm sure she gets judged and evaluated in love letters and hate letters all the time. And it's just kind of weird that here I am, just a guy trying to do his best, creates passion either way. Because, I'm not perfect. I screw up. I'll yell at somebody. I'll lose a job, gain a job, make some money, lose some money, gamble, do all sorts of things that are good, bad, and indifferent. But for some reason, I think because we watch them on TV or on stage or on our phones, we think they're more interesting or more important, or sometimes we think they're better, sometimes we think they're worse. And again, I talked about it yesterday. I still am a huge fan of Tiger Woods, but I had an unhealthy fanship of him where I thought he was this perfect human with a beautiful wife and the great golf swing and never missed a putt. And then all this stuff went down with, in his personal life 20 some years ago, and it hurt me. I was disappointed in him, But I think there's lessons we can learn that he's just a human. He's just a guy. His marriage had issues. All of our marriages have issues, and all of our lives have issues. And no matter how much money we make, or how many people watch us on our phones, or how good we can hit a golf ball or a baseball, or make a tackle, or sing a song, we're just, we're just all just kind of going through life and doing our best. Yeah. But anyway, for those that have been watching a while, it is not just a show about me talking or sharing my thoughts. For those that have been watching a while, it is also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And no, I'm not going to open a coffee shop. And no, the show's not really about coffee. It's just about a guy talking while drinking some coffee. But I'm going to share my first sip with you this morning. And I am so excited to have my first sip with you guys. And my hope is that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, that you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. I was going to say there's something so warm and natural about a Dunkin' Donuts with cream. But I kind of feel there is. I feel like it's mother's milk. I'm nursing from the bottle. Think about this. go back 55 years and imagine this beautiful face with a bottle with a little bit of hair going. That's what I'm doing right now. Oh, that's what I'm doing right now. The liquid of life. A hot coffee with cream from Dunkin' Donuts. It's good. Good morning, Amir. How are you? Good morning, Connor. Somebody has a missing cat. Hopefully they find it. Cats. I don't know about cats. I just don't know about cats. I guess that's okay. There's cat people, there's dog people. There's happy people, there's grumpy people. There's lovers, there's haters. Yeah. And, yeah. Huh. Wow, it's so quiet this morning. As always, I thought I'm not going live this morning. Thought, what a great night's sleep. I did have a great night's sleep. I'm going a little live a little later than I normally do. And excited about my day. I'm going to go at 8:30 this morning. I'm going to go pick up my little ones and drive out to my sister's house because my brother's in town visiting my sister. And haven't seen him in a while. And I've seen my sister a few times recently and my dad. But it's always extra fun when I have my little kids out there, my little babies. I think they kind of bring joy and they kind of make it the most wonderful time of the year. I mean, they also make it some stressful times, and I also felt kind of bad. I reached out to the three of them, my dad, my sister, and my brother, and going, hey, I'm free on Wednesday, Thursday. I could come up today to see you, or I could come up on Thursday if it's not too much stress, me bringing my little ones. I think everyone loves to see the little ones, but as a parent, I think, or I try and be aware that when I bring them to a friend's or to a family member's home, they turn things upside down a little bit. And I don't know. I think if you barged in unwanted with your little babies to somebody's house, you know, somebody might think they're cute for a little bit. But I don't know, if you're going to be hanging out all day, I think you better get some permission. So, but I think they're all excited to see them, and I'm excited to see my kids, and I got various snacks that I feed them. We're all hooked on pretzels, by the way. We all, being me and my little son and little girl. And I get such a kick out of just driving with them and grabbing from the bag of pretzels and kind of reaching back to this seat where Eve's usually sitting, and then going over here to Augie's seat, and then feeling their little hand, their little tiny hands. Eve's 2, Augie's 3.5, but they're about the same size. Augie's got Down syndrome. He's a little sweet little nugget. Gripping the pretzels and feeling their little warm, soft fingers on my hand, and having them be quiet for a little bit as they munch on those pretzels. Super sweet. But yeah, I went live last night and I kind of just talked, and I've been adding, I don't know, maybe I'm trying to, maybe it's okay. Maybe I don't need to apologize for it. Maybe I'm trying to figure a way to monetize this content, because for whatever reason, when I talk, it seems to get people emotionally charged. And sometimes I feel bad about that, and sometimes I feel good about that, and maybe I should just feel okay about it all. But I've realized when I talk, I tend to fire up people's emotions for whatever reason. Like even just a moment ago, I was about to talk about cats. Piss off all the cat ladies around the world. They'll be coming looking for me. We hate you. Now we know the truth. We were your biggest fans, and then you made fun of cats. How dare you? Yeah, I have a way driving emotions, and not trying to be. Not trying to. I even tried to avoid it. I wanted to joke about cats for a little bit. I stopped. caught myself. I said, I don't want to piss off the cat ladies this morning. I'm feeling too good to have a bunch of cat ladies angry at me. Wouldn't want that. So I changed it. I changed where I was going. But anyway, I went live last night, and I've been growing this What Is Coffee with Ken for a while now. And about 3 years ago, I said, hey, let's see what we could do with it from a business standpoint and hopefully make a difference and hopefully talk about mental health and sobriety and relationships and maybe somebody to connect to that needs somebody to connect to. But it has me wondering a lot. Again, I talk about my own mental health and my own anxiety and frustration and failures and successes. And it seems lately over the last, few years, there's been more, I don't want to call them failures, because I think step number one for dealing with failures is not look at them as failures and look at them as learning lessons. But anyway, went live in downtown Naperville and talked for a while and said, what the heck? Just kind of said random thoughts, kind of half tongue-in-cheek, half real, and posted it. And I woke up this morning and there was a guy named James Ruby. I wonder if that's his real name. I'm doubting it. But anyway, he commented, what is this, a therapy session? Shouldn't this be private? I responded, perhaps. Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it was a therapy session. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's right. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's up for us all to judge. Maybe it needs no explanation. Good morning, Justin. Maybe it needs no explanation. I feel over the last few months I've kind of realized that I don't have to engage in with everybody, or answer every question, or explain every video, or... Because, yeah, and again, it's going to sound weird. I know it sounds vain, comparing myself to Mick Jagger or an artist or something, and it's not. But I think in some ways this is an art form, and it's a way of expression, and it's a way that gets evaluated. But if Mick Jagger had to explain why he wrote Paint It Black to every individual fan of the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger would spend far too much time explaining what the lyrics of Paint It Black meant. And if maybe Van Gogh tried to explain, and that's why he lopped off his ear. He was going crazy. Had to explain what the colors meant, or why he chose this or why he did that, about everything he did. And I think at some point, it's best left unsaid. And maybe I don't need to explain to somebody watching why I'm doing it, or what it means, or if it's a therapy session, or if it needs to be private. Yeah. Maybe it needs no judgment. Pizza Puff said they're thinking of getting engaged someday. Interesting how words have different meanings. I don't know what that means. Amir says snow coming to Chicago. Is there? That would be so cool. That would be so cool. I love snow. I think it's beautiful. I don't commute to work. I mean, I've done it before, though. I'm not really afraid of driving in the snow. I kind of think it's sort of fun. I'm not maybe I am a great driver. Maybe I should cut myself some slack. Dave Mason said he's already tired of the cold weather. Dave Mason, yeah. Try looking at it from my perspective. But yeah, let's have a little more coffee. But anyway, I'm looking forward to my day, and had a great night's sleep and had a productive day yesterday. And I'm not going to tell you guys what, but I'm really excited about something on Friday. And it kind of surprised me a bit. I'd been working as a waiter here in Naperville for the last 4 or 5 months. And I think the time for me to work there is gone. And I'm not going to be working there anymore. And people were wondering, did he quit? Was he fired? I didn't quit. I wasn't fired. I think it was just time to go. I think it was time to go. And time for me to do something else at somewhere else and experience different things. And I was a little freaked out the last few days, and maybe I'm still a little freaked out because there's going to be a slight blip period of financial instability as I transition into a new job. But I'm transitioning into a new job. And I talked to somebody yesterday at length, and honestly, I'm kind of excited about it. And I think it could be cool. I think it would look great on a resume. I think it's not super lucrative, but I don't even need super lucrative because honestly, this is going to take care of all that. But I think it could be kind of what I'm looking to do, a little more responsibility, a little more time filling, but hopefully one where I keep busy and feel productive and feel like I'm making a difference and feel like I'm doing the right thing. I might be talking about it a little early. Haven't gotten the job yet and haven't done the first day or even, gotten the employee handbook. So maybe it'll all be different than I'd expected or different than I'd hoped. And if that happens, that's okay too. That's okay too. I don't have this great, obviously, look at me. Look at me. Look at the jobs I've chosen. I'm twice divorced. I've been living in my car the last 4 weeks. I don't have the same need or want for stability and guaranteed pay or knowing what tomorrow is going to bring that a lot of people do. And so when people see me talking and going, hey, well, I was worked as a waiter, or went to Yellowstone and worked a summer there, they're going, what the heck? What the heck? Do they give you an IRA or contribute to a 401k while you're out there? And honestly, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, or I'm right or wrong. But I think we all just kind of think differently. Hey, Kendra, thank you for sending me the heart me. I appreciate it. And Alan Hunter said, good luck. Well, I appreciate that too. And Kendra says a lot of income is better than stable income. I agree with that too, Kendra. And I've had a lot of income before, and that is better than stable income. As a realtor for 17 years, despite what people think about how much they're making, I'm telling you, they don't make that much. And I said it before, after expenses in 17 years, and I wasn't the most successful realtor in the world, but I did better than most. My record year after expenses was $108,000. But in that time, I can't tell you how many hard months there were, and months where I was stressed out about all sorts of things. Good morning, Lisa Strong. How are you? Yeah, Amy's saying she makes about $100,000 and it doesn't go that far. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, Amy. I did a video about how most realtors can't buy the homes they're showing, especially once you get divorced. And that was my record year. My average year was probably 65 or 70. And I was paying child support to my first wife throughout that career. And when I got divorced again, I realized, I don't know if it hit me over the head with like a club, that I needed to do something different and that real estate wasn't fulfilling. And I was fortunate because I left about 2 years ago. And, you know, the sport that is buying and selling real estate kind of stopped all of a sudden. It came skidding to a halt. You know, I'm going to be driving. And you guys know, I'm sure it was this way around the country. 10 years ago, you'd drive down your street, there'd be 2 for sale homes, 2 for sale signs on homes in your on the block. Now you're lucky if you see a for sale sign that doesn't have a contract pending under it, you know, in your drive across town. And there's just no supply at all. A home came up and I posted on Facebook. If anybody follows me on Facebook, I live with my first wife in a little subdivision just about 2 miles that way called Maplebrook. And it was probably built in the probably mid 50s to mid 60s. And a lot of little ranches and a lot of little split levels. And I talk a lot about my dream of owning a split level home because I've spent a fair amount of my adult life living in split levels, and honestly think they're just convenient as heck because you're in the main room and you only go up 1 flight of stairs to the bedrooms and 1 flight of stairs to the basement. And if you're in the kitchen, you can kind of look up and kind of look down and see the whole house. But anyway, that's not my point. I was living in this little subdivision called Maplebrook just down the way with my first wife, and I was thinking about it. My oldest daughter, who's a freshman in college at Iowa State, her name's Erin, she's a beautiful young lady, was just a little one or a toddler then. We didn't even have our second child. And the reason I know this is I have a picture of her somewhere sitting on a rock outside the garage at this home with this huge smile, and she's got these little tiny legs and little tiny body and haircut that maybe her dad did. She'll talk to her therapist about this going forward, I'm sure. And maybe she knows her dad loves her. He's just not a good barber. But anyway, the home, I knew the gentleman that lived across the way. He was in his 90s, and he had a wife that I don't think I'd ever met because she was, I think she passed during the year we lived there, and she was in her 90s too, and he was this nice old gentleman, and he chipped golf balls back and forth in his front yard, and I would do that a little bit too. And we got to talking, and he was a kind man and a nice man, and I think he was the original owner, so he probably bought the home in the 1960 or whatever, and here it was 2000 and, I don't know, 10 or whatever it was. And so he'd lived in it a long, long time. And the home came up on the market yesterday. The home came up on the market yesterday. And I recognized it, and the address was the address right across the street. I never went inside it. I was never invited inside or whatever. But I'll tell you, I'm sure it's been redone because the hardwood was glistening and the kitchen was shiny. And I know the neighborhood and the sidewalks are perfect. I mean, the sidewalks aren't perfect. They're bumpy. But it was just a great place to be, and a happy little place, and a beautiful place to go for walks with big oak trees, and just a lot of fond memories for me. Now, I have no money. But if I did, if I had $525,000 sitting in the bank, I might just go buy that home and move in it, because I think that'd be a really, really neat home for me. A really neat home for me. Yeah. So I'll have a little more coffee. Somebody asked, why not make a video of what it's like sleeping in the car? Lots of views and would be honest. Well, I think I think my show's extremely honest, and I'll get people to say he's not honest on his show because he doesn't talk about this, or this. You know, I don't talk about going to the bathroom on my show either, you know. But that doesn't mean I don't do it, or that I'm dishonest for not talking about it, if that makes sense. You know. Why not do a video about it? I don't know, because this show's not about me, a guy sleeping in his car. It's kind of what I chose to do 4 weeks ago, because my shifts were being cut back at work, and I didn't have a car, and I wanted to see my kids. And I said car and see kids and sleep in car, or extended stay with no car. And I opted for car and see my kids. Well, World of Fun Shirts says it would be more interesting than whatever this is. World of Fun Shirts, I think you know what the honest answer is to that. If you don't like this, change the channel. Change the channel. How many do I have? Cars? I only have one. I only have one. I only have one car. I mean, I'm just one person. If I had all the money in the world, I might have more than one car. My last car was an Audi A6. It was kind of for me, I'd consider a hybrid car because it was fairly functional. It was fancy. It was sporty because it was fast as heck. Yeah, it was kind of and therefore, if I was to only have one car, again, it might be that, because that would fulfill all my desires in a car. I don't have any desire for a Lamborghini Diablo. Maybe I have desire for a Porsche 911. I think I do. I always kind of wanted one as a kid. I thought they were simple. And yeah, they're simple they're simple and beautiful and not overly macho, and I don't know, something about them, I like them a lot. Yeah. Somebody said they scratch your car all the time you park in parking lots. I wonder who they is. What's the most you've lost in one option trade? Well, I think back. Okay. And forgive me the year and forgive me the strike price, because we're going back like 30 years. But in the early 90s, I had a lot of money and traded the markets a lot. And I kind of recognized a pattern that it seemed Apple Computer always went up, and it was bouncing between like 38 and 70. And again, the numbers are going to be a little bit off, but I bet you can go back and look at the chart, and it'll be somewhere similar to what I'm talking. And it was October, and I started accumulating calls, and they were either January 40 or 45s. I think they were 45s. January 45 calls on Apple Computer, because I thought it was probably going to go to 70 by February or what have you, because that's what it did a lot. And I started buying them, and I kept buying them, and I kept buying them. And I don't know how much I put into them, but I had a whole heck of a lot of them. And Apple Computer, I believe, came out with earnings on a Thursday night before option expiration. And I kid you not, the stock was trading at like 44 and a half or 45 and a quarter, right around the strike price. And I apologize for anybody out there that doesn't follow market talk, but this is the story. And it came out with a huge positive upside. And in the morning, or the after-market trading, it was up like $3 to 48. I'm going, well, and I don't know how many I had, but I had a lot of them. I mean, I don't know. It was a lot. I probably had, 40 or 50 grand of my own money that was at the money. And that if it worked out like I thought it would, it probably would have turned into $500,000 overnight. And The stock opened up on trading on that Friday at like 47.5 or so. And I'm going, that's pretty good. I'm making some money. But I bet you the stock rallies into the close. I bet the stock rallies into the close. And throughout the day, it kind of just was tired and traded and ended up closing about flat on the day at like 44.75 or wherever it had opened. And I remember watching that, and my 50,000, which in my mind could have been $500,000 because I thought I hit the home run, ended up at zero. Ended up at zero. And I think our Christmas party was that night, and I didn't go. And I was too emotionally attached to this position and to this money, but I was mentally crushed by this, more than the financial loss. More than the financial loss. I felt I'd been right. I was right. I was going to hit a home run. I was going to go woo-hoo-hoo, run around the office high-fiving people. But instead, I just kind of left. And I tell you what, I was way too emotionally exhausted. I think my parents came over, and I lived in this cool apartment in downtown Chicago, and I was just kind of crying, going, and again, it was more than the money, because I'd lost money before. But I think it was like my emotional attachment to the position and to the idea that I had to be right, and that I was right, and that I wasn't going to get rewarded for it. So was I really right at all? I don't know. Yeah. Thank you for following the live, Creator Mommy. Jennifer says you can lose a lot if you don't know what you're doing. Jennifer, you can lose a lot even when you do know what you're doing. I think people know what they're doing when it works out well, when it goes up, when they're in the right position. But I think if you think you can't lose a lot even knowing what you're doing, the only way you can't lose a lot is by not risking a lot. You put your money in T-bills, you're not going to lose a lot. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you know what you're doing. You're just playing it really safe. Jack Mills suggests that I check out American Dream Trading. Very good trading education. Jack Mill, I don't want to trade. I really don't. Money's got different meanings to me than it used to. And again, I was in my 20s, and I thought with money would come beautiful women and fancy cars and happiness and joy. And to some extent, it did have some perks. But I don't know. I just think there's other things so much more interesting to me than, I talk on the show. I'd like to see this show make money, and think that it will. And I kind of know that it will because I don't care that much. Although I don't want to say I'm not trying, because I try real hard on this show. But I think it's like a ball in motion or rolling downhill, a snowball rolling downhill. It's getting bigger and bigger, and I just don't think you can stop gravity. So I just think it will. But I don't think I'm as emotionally invested in it, at least in the financial side, because I don't know. If I had all the money in the world, I don't know what I'd do with it. I'd buy that little split level down the way. I'd get my daughter Eve a room and my daughter Augie a room, or maybe they'd share a room, and I'd have a guest room for my two older girls, hoping they'd come to stay with their dad every once in a while. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But that's what I do with $525,000. And that's what I do with $525,000. Not Original said they would save all the pit bulls and buy a farm. Yes, Kendra, it is inevitable. It is inevitable. Not original. I wonder why you're so fond of pit bulls. Is it because probably a lot of people buy them and maybe mistreat them? Maybe. Yeah, probably. But it seems like a noble want on your part, not original. Yeah. They're the best dogs ever. They're definitely misunderstood a little bit, but I mean, there's a reason they're misunderstood. Because they're very capable. They're very strong. They're very strong. They seem good, but I think a lot of owners buy them to be intimidating and probably want them to be intimidating. And it might not be the dog's fault, you know. I'm sure it's probably not the dog's fault, but yeah. Well, we have a nice audience today. We have a nice audience today. And it's Thursday morning. And I still got a splash, little bit of coffee left. And I get to pick up my little nuggets, my nugget and my little angel at 8:30. Thank you, Jamie. And between now and then, I'm probably going to stop into Starbucks, maybe get another extra large coffee, maybe put a splash of pumpkin spice or two in it, because I will tell you what, Starbucks with pumpkin spice in it is really delicious. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'll hang out there and I'll look around, do some people watching. I may or may not bring in my Jackery. Nah, I probably won't. 37% charged. Charge it. Sometimes I'll do that. But I'm going on a car ride today, so I can charge it while we're driving out to see my sister and on the ride back. And I'll make sure that I have... I'm wondering, I mean, what snacks do I need for the kids? We got little fruit. We share oranges. We share apples. One of the few words Eve can say. Well, she says a few. She says a whole bunch. Augie doesn't say any words yet, but he sure does some good imitations of Sesame Street. Ba, 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 ba is Cookie Monster eating cookies, and is Count, and is the Grouch cheer. That's most of Augie's vocabulary, but he's the sweetest little thing just the same. But Eve goes, apple, and I think she's trying to say apple, and she likes her apple juice, and she kind of calls apple juice anything in her cup that's not water. If she doesn't get it, she can be a little... Her mama says she's going through terrible twos. I don't know. She can yell. And I'll tell you, when you got two of them, sometimes you just got to grab one. And sometimes they don't like being grabbed. And I'll try and walk holding their hands. And they both, I don't think they think it's funny, but they've learned if they both drop, you know, that we're not walking anymore. And they'll kind of both simultaneously go into we're not walking anymore, Dad. We're going to drop. And usually when I'm doing that, I'm in a parking lot or a spot that is not appropriate for them to just drop. So I'll grab one and throw them over my shoulder and do my best and carry them where I gotta go. But we get where we gotta go. And yeah, Levi says they have twins. Again, they're not twins. Everyone thinks they are, because Augie, again, with Down syndrome, he's a little smaller than a normal 3.5-year-old might be. So they're almost the exact size. And it's cute. And again, they'll be best friends forever. And I mean, I hope. I don't know. You never know what the future holds, but they're really cute together, I'll tell you that. They are really cute together. Yeah. So, I don't know. 6:40. It's Thursday, December 19th. It's the happiest time of the year. And I hope you're feeling good today. I hope your week is going great. I hope you had a great night's sleep last night. I hope you are feeling good. And if you're not, go, okay, self, I'm not feeling good. I'm stressed out. I'm depressed. I'm bummed. I'm this, I'm that. I'm angry. I'm whatever. And then go, okay, well, it's good to acknowledge that. That's just how I'm feeling. That's not a permanent state of being or who I am. And now that I've acknowledged it as a feeling or a thought, I can kind of start letting it go. And I think that's the first step, getting through, some of the hardest times. Somebody asked if it's hard sleeping in a car. No, not really. It's really not. I've had a lot harder times when I had all the money in the world. I never really had all the money in the world, but more than I could spend. I had a lot harder times. And I've had a lot of dark times in my life and a lot of deep, 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 dark thoughts. They like the darkest of the dark. And I'm not feeling that way now. And yeah, I don't have a ton of money, and yeah, I'm twice divorced, and yeah, this, and yeah, that. But I'm also blessed in so many ways. Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate you guys for hopping on today. And if anyone's new to my show, please subscribe. Please follow along in my journey. And please enjoy your own day. And realize just because you're watching me here on your phone, I'm not super special and I'm not super evil. And don't be too emotionally attached. Just don't be too emotionally attached. We're all just people. We're all just people, and we're all going through stuff, and we all feel the same feelings, and we all hurt, and at different times. So, yeah. But anyway, hey, there's James Ruby, who was talking about the therapy session. James Ruby, I talked about you earlier today. Well, Lisa, I think you're jumping ahead a little bit, but I do appreciate that. You're jumping a little bit ahead. Just talk to somebody on the phone at length about it. But I'll tell you what, for me, real quickly before I go, and a lot of people go, oh, why don't you get a job? I've had jobs. I want to find something I'm really good at and that means something. I was waiting at tables. That was kind of paying the bills, not in a great way. But I want to find something I'm good at and that I think provides value. And I think the person I talked to yesterday has a position at his company that I think might be mentally stimulating and soulfully. To be honest, I worked as a waiter at a bar. I don't drink. Our best customers were those that came in and got drunk. And for a guy that kind of considers alcohol poison, no matter what it's wrapped in, whether you're drinking beer, wine, or shots, it's still poisonous. And I think a lot of us pretend that we're drinking wine that makes us better than other people. But I'll tell you what, if you can't control the amount of wine you're drinking, you're a drunk just like somebody that is drinking out of a brown paper bag. And I think we pretend because it's expensive or it comes in cute little glasses or mostly women drink it, that it's okay. But if you're out there and your night ends with a bottle of wine every night and you think that makes you better than some guy on the street that's drinking out of a brown paper bag, your poison's just coming in a different container. And wine is a drug and a dangerous drug, just like all the others. And just be careful. Be careful. So anyway, I want to thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you are feeling good. I hope you are excited about your day. I hope you're loving yourself. I hope you are forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.